This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Yippee! Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
But let's talk about this St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day, many of them who came here had no idea what the hell St. Patrick's Day was. I mean, they knew it, but it's not the same as it was. I'm sorry, it's not the same because we're losing, unfortunately, this wonderful institution called the Irish pub. Oh, there are some. Don't get me. God bless them. They're here. But I hope they never can go away with actual, real Irish people. Irish. It's Sunnyside, and God bless them. But let's talk about some of the myths and the mythology of St. Patrick's Day. This is my favorite. And, of course, this is one of the most widely celebrated cultural holidays in the world, sort of. But much of what people think they know about it is either exaggerated, misunderstood, flat out wrong, or just made up. They just made this stuff up about St. Patrick. And they're never corrected. Because if you knew how much these people, let me tell you something. Some of these bars, these pubs, they make their whole year's inventory in one day, 1 week. And I mean, it is just, oh my God. First, St. Patrick was not Irish. Hello, everybody. Not Irish. He was born in Roman Britain. Likely maybe in the late 4th or early 5th century. As a teenager, he was kidnapped by Irish raiders and taken to Ireland as a slave. There you go. Slave masters, those Irish barbarians. After several years, he escaped, returned home, and later chose to go back to Ireland as a missionary. And that decision, returning to the place where he had been enslaved, is one of the most remarkable parts of the story. Now, one of the biggest myths is that St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland. One of the funniest stories ever. It makes for a great image, but it's almost certainly it never happened. Never happened at all. Ireland never had native snakes to begin with due to its climate isolation after the last ice age. And historians believe the snakes were maybe symbolic, representing pagan beliefs that Patrick helped replace with Christianity. But there was no snakes. I don't know where that came from. Another misconception or lie is the famous shamrock story. According to legend, Patrick used the 3-leaf clover to explain the Christian concept of the Trinity. While this is widely repeated, there is no solid historical evidence whatsoever that he actually did this. It likely developed later as some kind of a teaching story. Now, even the color associated with St. Patrick has been misunderstood. Today, the holiday is associated with what color, everybody? That's right, green. Oh, you're not wearing green today. Do you ever have somebody punch you? Do they do this where they punch you or pinch you or hit you? You're not wearing green? You ever seen that? Anybody who does that, I'm warning you. I'm going to stab you in the throat with a fork. Just don't do that to me ever. But there's this idea that green. St. Patrick was actually linked to the color blue. And over time, green became, I guess, associated with Irish nationalism, the countryside, and the shamrock, maybe eventually taking over the dominant color. But this blue business had nothing to do with reality. Then, St. Patrick's Day itself was originally a religious feast day observed quietly with church services, and for centuries it was a solemn occasion in Ireland. And pubs were even closed on March 17th. Imagine that. And the modern image of parades and drinking and large public celebrations actually developed much later, particularly in the United States among Irish immigrants, who probably did it to maybe create the purpose of this for commercial purposes. In fact, St. Patrick's Day parade was not held in Ireland at all. It took place in the United States, with early versions recorded in cities like Boston and New York in the 1700s. And Irish Americans helped transform the day into a public celebration of identity and pride. And there are also misconceptions about St. Patrick's, about Patrick's writings. He did leave behind two known texts, Confessio and Letter to the Soldiers of Coroticus. Two biggies, waiting for that to come to the drive-in. But these are among the few reliable sources about his life, and they show a deeply religious man rather than this larger-than-life figure. And finally, St. Patrick was never officially canonized by the Catholic Church in the modern sense. He became recognized as a saint through popular acclaim and tradition rather than a formal process. So he's not technically a saint. And the real St. Patrick is less about spectacle and more about resilience and faith and personal transformation. And the myths may be colorful. So think about it. It wasn't green, it was blue. The shamrock was complete nonsense. The snake bit is out of it. He wasn't even a saint. But it doesn't matter.